Okay, have and have not fans. Now, first off, I want to say that I apologize for not having videos up sooner, but I did indeed watch the episode on Tuesday night. I just watched it again a second time. A long story short, I worked a half day of work on Thursday. Then I went home with my family until about maybe 10 o'clock this morning. So I was home for almost one full day because I have to work Monday, but I'm off the 4th of July. But then I got to work early on Wednesday morning. So I don't think I'll be able to go home for the 4th of July. So I just went home, spent time with the family, spent 2 hours with my mom and sister talking about the haves and the have-nots. So I figured that with the haves and the have-nots having a brief hiatus because it's not coming on the 4th of July, uh, I wanted to kind of take my time doing videos and kind of spread them out because we have a bit of a wait, and I really didn't want to just do what I did last week, which I think in that period of time within a week, I posted almost 6 or 7 have and have not videos. I don't think I've ever done that many that quickly, but at the same time, I didn't want to, I guess you could say, oversaturate my channel with nonstop videos. I wanted to kind of spread it out. And again, big ups to you all. I've reached over double, and that's God right there. As Hannah would say, that's my God right there. That's I started out, what was last Tuesday, about maybe a little over 600 subscribers. I'm over double that, and I'm almost about to hit 1,400. I'm just blown away. So I just, again, cannot thank you enough, and I hope that you all enjoy these videos. And I'm trying a different location in my apartment. I noticed that a couple of my last videos, the audio was a little off. Maybe I'd sound a little bit too quiet in the background or something. So let me know what you think of this video in terms of the sound quality. I just want to make sure I'm coming through clearly. Now, I want to just do this video right up front and talk about the episode itself. Of course, I'm going to be doing break-off videos in terms of, what I think about different plot points, this and that. But overall, I think it was a solid episode. Honestly, it's only been 2 episodes in, and I'm really pleased with what we're seeing so far. One of the complaints in previous seasons of the Haves and the Have-Nots is just like almost to the level of If Loving You Is Wrong, that an entire episode will have like 2 people talking for like 10 or 15 minutes in the same spot, and then we'll only get maybe 2 more locations, and then the last couple of minutes of the episode are the only couple of minutes worth watching. I don't really feel that way with the Haves and the Have-Nots so far this season because yes, most of the episode took place in the hospital. We had a brief, and I mean a very brief, take to the hotel where we see Oscar and Candace talking. And again, let's just start off with talking about that. I'm glad that Oscar is telling, Candace, hey, this isn't one of your little girl games. Put on your big girl pants. This is the big leagues. This isn't one of those get rich quick schemes. And he makes a good point. You look at where Candace was at the beginning of the season, escorting what $100,000 in a sports car, then upping her game, so to speak, to 7.5 million. Then look at where she is now, trying to seduce a potential president of the United States. Now you just look at the growth in her schemes, going from hundreds of thousands to millions to potential White House, level. But you have to look at everything that happened in between those schemes. She has fallen flat on her face, lost everything, struggled, came back, broke alliances, had her own muscle, Warlock go against her, and I can go. That's a video series, not just a video. That's a video series in itself. But Oscar is saying this is about the long haul. This is kind of an Easter egg. I hope you all picked out like I did. But do you recall when he said like, hey, we want to make sure this guy gets out of the race this time, have my guy win, and then after 8 years you could be the next first lady? Of course, an Easter egg is the whole Barack Obama biopic that Tinka Sumter played in. She played Michelle Obama, but that isn't necessarily the Easter egg I was referring to. I'm talking about way back in episode 1 or 2 of the Haves and the Have-Nots, when Jim and David, kind of tickled the idea of becoming governor, lieutenant governor. And David said he spoke with the current governor, and he said, and no unspoken terms, he said that the state of Georgia isn't ready for a black governor. So have Jim run for governor, serve 2 terms, and you run as assistant governor. And then after 8 years, then you become governor. That was a nice throw. I mean, I didn't know if Tyler wrote that intentionally, but I think that's a really cool idea but my only hope is, how long it took from season 1 to announcing he's running for governor to him actually getting on TV to announce it. Let's hope the same doesn't hold true for Candace trying to, think about the idea of being first lady, and then 8 years later. I mean, can you imagine her as first lady? Should I? Hey, let me know in the comments. Should I do a video about my thoughts if Candace Young became first lady of the United States? Let me know. I really want to get your thoughts on that and see. Again, because we have a couple of weeks to fill before the next episode. So if this is a video topic you would like me to go into, by all means, leave it in the comments below. Now, so we have Candace refusing help, and we know in the preview for next week, Oscar walks in and throws in a bag with $250,000 saying, hey, do I have your attention now? And I think in the preview, Oscar's even saying that, you know, hey, if you play this game wrong, they'll catch wind of it, and then, you know, they'll come after you. I'm guessing, you know, like the big dogs. And she's like, hey, don't worry about it, I'll help you. So we know at some point her and Oscar may potentially team up. And in one preview, what was it? It looked like Charles had Secret Service bust in on them in the bed, and he said, I don't like being blackmailed. So again, there's no telling what's going to happen next. Now, I was going to say this for last, but let's kind of talk about this first. And I was just amazed by how Twitter blew up with Hannah's Crystal Fox. I'm not going to say she killed the performance because, you know, in light of what happened to Quincy Jr., she nailed that performance, put it that way. All I saw on Twitter and Facebook, I hope she gets like nominated or wins an Emmy because that was so real. Like her emotion, like it's crazy how Hannah reminds me of my mom in terms of how, you know, her persona is. You know, my mom isn't all whole, like she's a Christian, but put it this way. Most people condemn Hannah, if you will, because she comes off as too holy and sanctified, like she's not ever made mistakes and she looks down on people. I don't really look at her in that way because she has admitted several times that, yeah, she's run on the wrong side of the tracks. And I guess that really comes out when Candace, you know, tries to, you know, if you will, rebuke Hannah's advances in terms of, hey, little girl, you need to turn your life around. I was like, well, I grew up with your crazy ass. And Hannah's like, yeah, I didn't live like on a straight and narrow when you were a kid. And I apologize for that. But look, here's my thing. Hannah is her mother. And look, maybe I should do this in another video, but let's just, for like maybe 45 seconds, let's be real. When it comes to the haves and the have-nots, and again, I don't know the demographics. I know that the show gets high ratings, but look, I don't want to assume, but let's just say a majority of the people that watch the show are African American. You know, it's the OWN TV network, Tyler Perry. How many of you all grew up in a Christian household with, you know, African American mother, and it came across like she was always telling you couldn't do anything right, or, you know, if you don't do that, that's non-Christian. And then your mom had maybe not as a, I guess you say, exotic lifestyle as Hannah. Let's just kind of be honest here. Now, when you look at Hannah on the screen, and again, this is just me talking about my own experience, there are a lot of qualities in Hannah that I see in my own mother. And I'm guessing some of you all might feel the same way too. Now, yes, in some instances, it does seem like Hannah is a bit condescending, hypocritical. She's a have-not, but in terms of her faith, she kind of looks down on some people. In a way, I can see where you're coming from based on her interactions with certain characters on multiple occasions. But at the same time, at the core of her character, I feel that she is a genuine Christian. I really do feel that way. Again, that's just my own opinion, but again, since we have 2 weeks, I think I will do a character breakdown of Hannah. I think that's a fair assessment based off of everything I see online about her character. I feel like that's a great video topic that's on my to-do list, and I really do have a video list. So let's just put it this way. Her performance, top-notch. I love that Catherine stepped in because, again, who better to agonize for pain than Catherine? Arguably, though, I will say that maybe Michael could be the better person, but let's just put it this way. I believe I even went down in detail in this, and I think it was the video I did about how did Candace really love her son, along with my theories on how she's going to react when she learns about her son being dead. Michael lost his grandchild to the same kind of situation that Hannah did. You know, when it came to Michael, it was like a drug house where his daughter had her, little Lizzie was at that drug house. She was at, you know, playing outside or whatever. Then, you know, the hit and run incident with Wyatt, again, all because of drugs, money, whatever the case may be. He lost his grandchild. Hannah was there for him. I really wish, well, Michael doesn't know about the situation, obviously. It would be really interesting if he showed up. I think that would be a great dynamic, not just for the whole instance of a love interest for Hannah, but at the same time, somebody who can truly relate. I feel that at the moment, Catherine was the perfect character because, again, that's her friend. She lost a child, and then Hannah was there for her. So I really do like the fact that, you know, Catherine was there for Hannah. And I love how she even broke it down, how real it is in terms of, you know, when somebody passes away. And again, people, and this isn't me trying to say people at funerals and all are fake, but we all heard the cliches, you know, it's going to be okay. Give us some time. God loved them best and all that, you know. And that is true. Time heals all things. What is it? What's the saying there? Time will reveal. Oh, no, now I'm thinking about the barge. But time heals all wounds, but of course it's always going to leave a scar. And again, I don't know if I'm quoting anybody on that. I kind of just made that up, but somebody probably said it before I did. Let's put it that way. And the hurt is always going to be there. I mean, let's be honest. We've all lost a loved one, a friend, a family member. There's always that pain, but at the same time, you have the good times, the bad times, just memories. And I feel like that's going to be Hannah's, as again, Catherine just beautifully spoke it. As a friend once told me, it comes in waves, the emotion. And God, she's going through a tsunami right now, Hannah. I was just like, just the little stuff like, hey, go over to the room and get his game. And those little phrases, the body language, Hannah just destroyed that part. That was just, again, that's probably one of the most powerful just scenes in the entire series. No lie. I feel like a lot of you would probably agree with me on that one. Like, you compare Catherine's reaction to finding out about Amanda, Jim doing the same, and that scene, I'm even speechless because, again, I just rewatched the episode and I'm still speechless. So wow. Okay, now I'll just leave that scene as it is because, again, I could just go on and on and on. So let's kind of talk about more of the episode. Now, for starters, I did like Jeffrey being back in his counselor role. Like, you know, when was it Anna that showed up? See, I'm bad with names because, you know, the female doctor, the drug facilitator that, you know, came and got rehab facilitator that got Wyatt from the house and brought to the hospital. I like seeing Jeffrey in counselor mode. This was the Jeffrey we saw back in season 1, minus the whole creepily stalking Wyatt kind of thing. Wow, it is kind of weird because you think about Justin kind of creeping around on Jeffrey, just like Jeffrey was creeping out on Wyatt in season 1. How the tables have turned. Anyway, I just loved seeing him in that role. It's like, Catherine, look, Miss Cryer, calm down. Here's the situation. I love seeing him. When was the last time you seen Jeffrey in control of a situation? I'm not really talking about him, you know, trying to use Justin or, you know, stabbing Veronica, even though that was a interesting scene and something we all been wanting to see for a while. But just him being serious, confident. It was just the way he stood, you know, his body, he was you know, standing straight like a man. His tone wasn't like this stunning yeah, he was confident in what he was saying because, again, I think he even said it before, he was one class shy away from getting his psychology degree. So this is the kind of character I like seeing in Jeffrey, and I hope we get to see more of, you know, him like that. So it is good to see Wyatt, you know, one step closer to getting better. And you know, we see the preview of Melissa next week going off when Jeffrey comes into the room. And if I'm not mistaken, you know, this is just me kind of guessing here, if you notice a trend, whenever one of the actors or actresses on the Haves and Have-Nots is working on another project, Tyler Perry kind of puts them, you know, in the not the penalty box, but kind of like in the cupboard, if you will. Because you think about it, it looks like Melissa might be in the hospital for a little while. So the filming of this season may have taken place around the same time that Antoinette Robertson was filming Dear White People on Netflix. I don't know about you, but I watched that. It was actually a pretty good show. And maybe I should do a video on that. Well, at least talking about Coco, you know, the character that Antoinette played, because there was a lot of Veronica in her I seen in that show. That was really interesting. So maybe that's one reason that Melissa may be in the hospital for a little while. So based off that, it seems that with Wyatt in the hospital, Melissa in the hospital may be one of the common settings or locations this season. That's just my guess. Now, again, it's good to see Wyatt getting back on track, and Jim's going to show up next week. Of course, I cannot not talk about the exchange between Catherine and Veronica. Those two can just steal the scene whenever they take, you know, just get in front of the camera. That was just hilarious. And then, you know, Jeffrey saying, shut up. Like, he isn't scared now. That's great. And, wow. So, oh, yeah, another hospital scene, of course, is, you know, finding out that Melissa is still having a baby. I am kind of mad, not the fact that the baby isn't dead, but I posted a video maybe 21 or 2 days right before the episode posted about a theory, is Melissa really pregnant? And it looks like she is. But even in that video, I stated, I'm not even like heads or tails of, you know, I'm sure she's pregnant or not, because you think about how often Veronica is watching her like a hawk, carrying her to the doctor and whatnot. So if for her to not be pregnant is very impressive to, you know, pull one over Veronica's eyes. Now, so we had the doctor situation, and of course, like I predicted in the video, the doctor would come out and Veronica will only be concerned about the baby. Now, let's see here. Moving forward, we have Mitch he's saying he'll pay for the funeral. That's an interesting take. I wonder if, you know, Mitch or Catherine will be the one to pay for the funeral, because again, they're both connected to this, you know, Mitch through Benny and Catherine through Hannah. And again, I'm just like scratching my head. It's like everybody on the damn show knows that Quincy Jr. is dead except for Candace. I bet even Tony, Celine, and Celine, they probably all know. And they haven't been seen since what, like a season and a half now. So eventually she cuts on that cell phone and she'll know. But she knows, like, every time somebody cuts off a phone or loses a phone, they miss very important calls. So, hey, what can you do? Now, I guess you could say the moment that I've been waiting for did occur in this episode. And oh my gosh, it's 16 minutes in. I didn't even think this video was going to be this long. But again, it goes to show how good the episodes have been, because I'm talking about it this long. Because usually I'll be talking about, okay, plot point A, B, and C. This happened during the episode and that was it. Oh no, I'm going in depth in this video. And this is just to taste people, because I got more coming. Now this, again, I cannot thank you enough for blowing up this particular, not this particular video, but the video I did a week ago about what is Mama Rose planning. I haven't checked my YouTube channel in a couple of days, so last time I checked it was about at 22,000 hits. Like, I went into detail breaking down how I think things will go down, and I was right about a few things. Number one, Jim finally going to the Malone restaurant, the restaurant that Mama Rose has been asking him to swing by since season 2. Point number two, that Mama Rose would consider blaming Jim for the situation. Like, look, if you didn't get that boy out of jail, this wouldn't have happened. Number three, Jim being concerned about this gang war because of the whole situation with him and, you know, Warlock getting the photos. And then, of course, Jennifer's body being in the mix, like Mama Rose didn't reveal that. Now, let's kind of backtrack a little bit. And this is a plot point that might be a potential plot hole. And I talked to my mom about this, too. So this might be about a 2 or 3 minute little chunk of this video now. Jim's whole deal about getting Warlock out of jail was to not only destroy the photos and videos that Candace gave him as leverage if Jim tried to come after him, you know, with him with the transvestites and whatnot in the war room, but also to go over to Candace's house and get the photos and videos from her place. That way Candace wouldn't have anything on him. However, remember the new DA, the Asian guy, came over to Jim's house, or Catherine's house, to get information about Candace Young and whatnot. And he revealed that from the house, we found some pretty interesting things. And he pulls out the video, the photos and whatnot. So Jim knows the DA and the police took the evidence that, you know, the blackmail evidence from Candace's house and it's with the police. So why did he say that, you know, hey, this kid's working for me on something? That doesn't make any sense. My mom said it could be that, you know, believe it or not, Jim might have some feelings towards Warlock. Not just in the sense like, you know, he might feel sorry for him because remember, Warlock told Jim a story in jail about, you know, coming from the other side of the tracks, being black, that kind of stuff. And then Jim pretty much, he gave him some sound advice. Like, you know, Jim is an asshole, but at the same time, he, in a very, you know, Jim-like manner, he did give Warlock some good advice about, look, if you don't like the cards that life has dealt with you, you know, try to play with those hands, get more cards, whatever. I got to go back and watch the episode. It was a good one. It was the one where those two made the deal in jail. They would work together. He gave him some really good advice. That could be Jim's chance. Like, look, I'm trying to help you get out of Savannah. Just go. And he doesn't want to do it. This is why I feel like Warlock's going to be in trouble, because remember way back in season 2, right before Candace got abducted by the Malones, I believe she was talking with Jeffrey about going to Atlanta, Georgia instead of Savannah, you know, to start over. And she's like, hey, you should come with me. Oh, and what about Amanda? She can come too. Yeah, right. And then she pretty much played herself too high, you know, in terms of falling for Jim's trick about beat me in the park and I'll give you what you want. And then she got abducted. Warlock is ignoring the warnings of Jim to get out of town, and he's probably going to end up dead or in, you know, jail again. Oh, actually, instead of season 2, when Candace said she was talking about going to Atlanta, remember after getting the 7.5 million from Jim, Warlock was like, so you're going to split town? Oh no, I want to stay in town, and then I want to live it up so I can throw it right in his face like an idiot. And it goes to show how much would have changed if she had simply left town. There's no telling what would have happened. So anyway, we have, you know, Jim with that plot hole. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think that Jim is really looking out for War, or do you think that, you know, I don't know. I really can't think of a reason why he would even bring up the photo plot, knowing that the police had the, you know, the evidence. So going on to Mama Rose, and again, after I do wrap up this video, one of my first videos is going to be comparing the old Mama Rose to the new Mama Rose. I have nothing. This new Mama Rose, again, I don't know why you all who feel that she isn't a good character, after the 10 minutes she had with Jim, how can you not be afraid of her? That was just as good as Hannah's acting was with the scene, you know, losing Quincy Jr. Seeing this new Mama Rose in action was just like, wow. And then I love Jim's reaction to, whoa. So the kid didn't even get shot, and you want to start a storm over this? That, oh my gosh. And then that whole 2008 race war, if I'm not mistaken, that might be linked to the whole, you know, Barack Obama, you know, being first elected, if I'm not mistaken. So interesting throwback there. So there's no telling what kind of, you know, muscle that Mama Rose threw around with the Malone. So there's no telling what's going to happen now. So again, I did not mean for this episode review to go so long, but for a couple of reasons, I just want to, again, kind of make up for the fact that I haven't done a video since Tuesday. So I feel like this is a great video to kind of just watch when you kind of just sitting down, relaxing for the weekend, you know, just listen to my voice talk about the episode. Let me know your thoughts on the episode as a whole. It goes without saying that the best and most powerful moment was indeed when Hannah, you know, was just going through something, let's put it that way. And of course, the episode ending with, oh yeah, just one more thing. What I don't like is the fact that Jim might mess up David's potential connection with Oscar. It's like, look, we need this guy to find Warlock for me. Oh, do you have any dirt on him? He got off probation. Well, do you think we can trust him? Oh, I think so. No, I need you to know. And then he's like, well, dig up something on him. I don't like that. I feel like just because, you know, Jim has actually kind of got a noose around his neck, he's probably yanking on a David's chain now to mess up his connection. So I really don't like that. Dealing with, you know, trying to double deal with Oscar in terms of, you know, turning the tables on him, because damn, Jim, he found your son. So sheesh, there's no telling what's going to happen. So I got an Oscar video coming out too. So I really should wrap this up. I'm almost at the 23-minute mark. Let me know again in the comments if you felt the sound quality of this video was better than some of my earlier videos. Because again, I'm really trying to, the fact that my channel is growing, I'm trying to increase the quality of my videos. So just be on the lookout. I promise I have more videos on the way. So stay tuned and subscribe.